that castle talk.
What up, Jose?
You watch the world. This that castle talk. 1, 2, 3, castles for you. This is that castle talk. Yo, castle me, castle 1, castle 2, castle 3.
Welcome everyone to Castle Talk. I am your host Pinky and my co-host Jake and X, and we have a special guest here on episode 5. The man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Green's in the house. How you doing, Mr. Green?
Hey guys, good morning. Glad to be here. Good to see you.
Super stoked to have you here, man. Super stoked to have you here.
I'm super stoked to be here, man. I love what you guys are doing with it.
Thank you, Jay.
My man, Mr. Green, man. I'm glad you came through, bud.
Oh, of course, Jay. You know, I love the Graham Goyles, and you know that's what Mr. Green is. Somebody who just represents for the best projects that have the best leaders in Web3. You know, I'm not. That's part of the Graham Goyles. You know, that's why I'm here with you guys right now.
Thank you, man.
Let's go.
Well, we are so.
So let's get.
Yeah, go ahead, Jay. Go ahead.
I was gonna say let's get this started with the first question. Really, how did you get into the space? What brought you to the Web3 environment?
Okay, so that's quite a long story. I'll try and make it as short as I can. I think it was November 2021. I was really sick. I was sitting at my dining room table, and I had said, I don't remember this, I had said something to my son about plugging in the laptop, but there was no laptop to be plugged in, and I was delirious. I went back and sat in my recliner, and I believe stopped breathing or something. I was taken to the hospital by ambulance, and in the ER, while I was waiting to be put into a bed, I was still on the stretcher from the ambulance. And I remember not being able to breathe again and screaming, I can't breathe, and everything blacked out. The next time I woke up, I was being loaded into a Mercy flight helicopter to be transported, because I do live in a very rural, small town with a very small hospital. So, 2 hours away is the closest big city hospital. So, of course, they loaded me in the Mercy flight, and they took me to Rochester, New York, to the hospital there. And I was in the ER the ICU for 3 days. And I couldn't answer the simple questions of why I was there, who I was, what date it was, who's the president. Those cognition tests, I had nothing for 3 days. It was scary.
Damn.
And they finally started leaking back into my brain. And now when I look back at that situation, I feel like, how did I not know that stuff? Like, how was I not able to answer those questions that I can answer right now? So I was really sick. What I had was, I'm a type 1 diabetic, a very severe type 1 diabetic. My dad died in his 50s of diabetic heart failure. And that's what I was in. I was in what's called diabetic ketoacidosis, diabetic heart failure, and diabetic kidney failure. I had what I could call 2 antennas sticking out the right of my neck.
Wow.
There were inlets and outlets for one of those machines that cleans your blood for you when your kidneys aren't working. And they tried using that machine once, but my kidneys fortunately were kicking back and working on their own. Dialysis, that's what it is. And came home. And after something like that, I was extremely weak. And so I went home and I started working on my truck immediately, because my truck needed a New York State inspection. But while I was out there, I was getting weak. I started falling. And it felt like a matter of 14 times in a 2-week period. I hurt my knee. I overextended it when I fell one time. And, I got so weak that I wound up sitting in my recliner, and I couldn't stand for 3 days. My legs would not support my body weight. it was one of the hardest things I've ever gone through in my life. But I can thankfully say, after a lot of hard work, I'm up walking again, standing like I used to be. I've got my muscle strength back in my upper body too. But it took a lot of time to get that way. And after I was working on getting better, I would jump on Twitter because I'd never used Twitter before, ever. I made an account only because I bank through Chime and I wanted to keep track of the goings on through Chime, and that was the only platform that they were on. So I created it in December 2021, my Mr. Green profile, and I didn't actually start using it until February. And as I'm learning to use Twitter, I'm seeing a lot of crypto and NFT and DeFi stuff coming across my timeline. And the more I watched it, the more I was like, wow, this stuff is cool. This is an interesting concept. So, I started looking at posts, and I would write down the terminology that people were using that I didn't understand. I had to learn what Ethereum tokens were. I had to learn how to download a wallet, what a seed phrase was. So I started just by going through all that. If I hadn't gone all through all that, I don't think I'd have been on Twitter. I was a Facebook avid user, and that's it. So, all that happened that led me into what I was seeing, doing all the research, like they say, DYOR. I had to look that up too, just so I knew what it meant. And then that's what I did. I did my own research. I learned what, cryptocurrency tokens were, what DeFi and decentralization is, what Ethereum is, what a token standard is, what a smart contract is, what a community is. That's not something that people that come into crypto and NFTs understand these days. They think they come in and they just trade that shit. No, man, most of us are long-term projects sustaining and giving you guys value over time instead of giving you something that you're just going to quick flip and make money. That's why we're all builders in this space. So that's how I really got started into cryptocurrency and NFTs. It's a hell of a story I like to tell people, only because I want to derive strength out of others. I want to inspire other people, not because I want the sympathy, right? I only want to be happy for the rest of my life. I don't want to be miserable and get sympathy and stuff. So that's why I'm a leader in Web3, because I sat down, I did the research, and then I connected with people. People started noticing who Mr. Green was, and I grew from there. So it's just been an immense start to a hell of a story to an immense start, leading into what I am today.
Right on, brother.
Jesus, that is. I didn't know this. I didn't know none of this. I didn't know none of this about you, man.
I don't like to talk a whole lot about it because I don't want people to think that that's what I want is sympathy. I don't want sympathy.
Yeah, but you also could be an inspiration. You could also be an inspiration.
I am strong, man.
You are a strong man. I salute you for that. But you could also be an inspiration for a lot of people that are looking to have somebody to talk to. For example, me. Graham Goyles was created by me being paralyzed from the waist down.
I was about to say that.
Yeah. From my waist down for a couple months, for at least 4 months. So
wow, yeah, I never knew that either.
I was down and out. All I had was my couch, and I had my iPad, and I created this little cartoon characteristic person of my daughter, and it switched and the TV was on, and Gargoyles and Gremlins was on, and boom, this whole entity that I created, was because I was paralyzed from the waist down from having a work accident, to have broken my spinal cord,
Hell yeah, that's something for people to derive strength out of too. There's a lot of people out there that wish that they could achieve the status that we get.
Exactly.
But we've dealt with so much in IRL that we're strong. We know what to do. We got off our ass instead of sitting there feeling miserable for ourselves and our conditions, and we did something about it.
Well, there's two things. I got off my ass. I did something to keep my mind because I went into depression mode. I basically drew, but the person and the one and only inspiration in my life to get back on my feet was my daughter, who was 8 months old. So
Yes, and that is a great inspiration.
At the end of the
Children,
day,
man,
it wasn't the Gremgos, it wasn't NFTs, but it was my daughter. And if I could inspire people that are down and out, don't give up. Don't give up on what you truly want to become. I truly wanted to become a great father for my daughter. So
Yes.
I had to get off my ass
yes.
and not be lazy on my ass.
Exactly. And, my kids know that I'm actually here. And when I get with a good project and I can mint from them and I'm going to be able to have some sort of long-term sustained value, when I'm gone, that stuff is going to sit there for my children.
Exactly.
They're going to be able to access my seed phrase, get in my wallet, and hopefully all of the work that I have done, all the success I've achieved will equal out to something for them when I'm gone.
Exactly. Jay, and Jay too. I gotta give props to Jay Connects as well. He's a
100%.
working dad, raising two twin boys. Yeah, there's a lot there too.
D-Gen parents are some of the best D-Gens out here too, because we're some of the most trustworthy. We're not just out here to make a quick buck and disappear.
No, I'm loyal to Jay as much as Jay is loyal to me. Now Jay's been muted. Jay, what do you got to say about all these I'm never nice to you, so what do you think about that?
Oh, you guys, it's a moment we're having right now. I feel so giddy inside. No. I'm glad Mr. Green told his story. Yeah. And I was saying to myself, it's very similar to Pinky's story. I never, when I go in these spaces and I talk about, how it gets started, I don't talk about the whole thing because I want Pinky to tell a story. But I'm glad he was able to put it out, especially on this podcast. Now everyone will know, and I don't have to repeat it.
Yeah. But we're hitting that already 20-minute mark on this interview. But let's talk about more who you're representing now, Mr. Green. What you've been doing with your past. Well, I don't know if you want to talk about your past of who you've teamed with. I don't want to say who you worked for because I don't think that's the right appropriate word to say. But like your past projects you worked for, teamed with, and
still saying worked for.
And
just say. Just ask him for his portfolio and call it a day.
Yeah, your portfolio, man. Your portfolio and who you currently with. Rocking the Twitter spaces now. Who you representing?
Yeah, I've done some great things out there with some great people. Initially, when I started learning about crypto and everything in the beginning, I will throw a name out here for this one because this one's a year and a half old. I was really hardcore rocking with the Kush Cats. It was a series of cats that had different traits that were stoners. They had stoner sweatshirts and stoner eyes and stuff like that. And I connected with the community there, and I connected with the founders. The actual real founder was a type 1 diabetic like me. I even went to the point of going to Ape Spaces to shield the Kush Cats. They ended up being a rug. And so, I didn't let it sour me. I just moved on, just floated around. I started doing my own mega spaces like Ape Spaces, just as an independent. I teamed up with two friends and we had hosted a whole series of huge spaces, almost like Ape Spaces, because there wasn't a whole lot of project spaces around back then. As I was being a space host, I was noticed by another Mr. Green account that went to another project. I won't name drop this one, but I worked as their community manager for a long time. They were giving me a little bit of money on the side until we started actually minting, because our first mint was a free mint. But I was representing the project solo. Like, I had the car for, considering the project, but I didn't have the keys to the car. I didn't have access to be able to, do a giveaway and give somebody something. And it was always hard to reach the other two founders. So, you know, I was out there alone. I was doing spaces. I was signing up for spaces. It was only me representing. I was having a hard time finding any of the community members that were out there representing for the project even. And one day, all of a sudden, I get a DM saying, hey, buddy, we're dropping you into co-founder status. So we're going to quit your pay, and we're going to put you on a per sale percentage. Now, everything was on the floor for $2 or $3 or $1 for that project. And they wanted me to get the floor price up to 0.1 before they would launch the second step. And it wasn't happening. No matter how hard I tried, it wasn't happening. You know, they dropped that on me and disappeared. Like, they left me holding the bags looking stupid. And I haven't even heard from them since the day they co-founded me. So, of course, I gave up. I was like, you know, I can't run this project by myself. I don't have the capital for it.
Quick question. When you say they co-founded you, what does that mean?
I was community manager, and they brought me in as a co-founder, meaning that I was 1/3 business owner.
Okay, now when they co-founded you, isn't that supposed to give you more of a pay? Not cut your pay? What does that mean?
That's what I thought. See, now when I was rocking as a community manager, they were just throwing me money every week to help them out. But when they decided to drop me into co-founder status, they told me it would be a per sale basis, but the sales would be coming off of the floor. There were no mints. And the floor price, I think, was only like $3. So it was impossible. And they knew that they wanted to end the project where it was, and they wanted to make me look stupid and take the attention off of them. And it worked for a second, and then people realized, you know, I had no control over that. That was not my fault. So, you know, I didn't. Of course, everybody became a little leery, but
so they wanted to pay you off of the floor. That was your co-founder.
Yes,
commission.
Once I became co-founder, they wanted to pay me off of floor sales.
Wow, that's different. I've never heard that before.
And if you're watching this show on Castle Talk right now, if you know, you know.
Yes, sir.
If you know, you know.
Okay.
And so, you know, I floated around a little bit, but I have a friend named Dave who was co-founder of another project. I won't name drop this one because it's my newest. So, you know, they knew who I was. They'd been in my spaces. They really wanted me to join the team. They brought me on originally as a brand ambassador and, you know, the face of for the public, you know. And I worked for 3 weeks doing that, holding spaces for them, going to spaces, trying to, you know, get my pitch down because it was a rather long pitch with a lot that was going on. And after 3 weeks, they brought me into co-founder. So I was one of the 4 founders of the project. You know, they were throwing me a little bit of money every week because I told them, of course, you know, I need to monetize my time. So you're going to have to pay me if you want me to be brand ambassador. And when they brought me into co-founder, it was supposed to change. You know, my pay was supposed to go up. I was supposed to start getting a quarter of all of the mint sales and everything. And that never happened. They just brought me to co-founder status. I rocked it hard with them for 7 months. I brought the project from just about to flop to being above the underdog, where everybody wanted that project on their stage and stuff. You know, that was purely me coming in and just changing things, showing them how the game really works, showing them about spaces and the power of spaces. So about 6 days before our newest mint, it was a little over a month ago, the pressure was on. I wasn't feeling very good. I got into our group chat and I could feel toxicity. The way they were talking to me and stuff. And so I got mad. I'll own what I did. I blew up. I told them to fuck off, leave me alone to do my work.
Whoa! This is a PG show.
Sorry, F off.
Just kidding. Okay, go ahead.
He definitely is kidding. Stop playing.
But yeah, I told them, let's get this fixed on the next day. I got dropped into a group chat. We were supposed to have a call. I said, let's get this fixed. I want to resolve this and move on. I want to continue to go out into spaces. I was met with some rudeness, so I didn't have that call, and I didn't go back to the group chat for that day. I went back the next day, just hoping to have that civil call without having any arguing or yelling. I got told that I am boring, and everybody has been coming to them, telling them how fucking boring I am. And I can take criticism, but when somebody delivers it like that, that hurt. So, of course, I didn't return to the group chat that day. I left the group chat so that, I didn't start an argument. The third day, I got on Twitter and found that I was logged out of the main account. They changed the password and blocked me from it. And that was when it was all talk before, but that was action. That was basically saying F you, get lost. So that's what I took it as. And I walked. And instead of trying to keep me a part of what they were doing, they just hired a new space host and let me go. And it still didn't sour me. I've been through a lot of hard shit with this, with all of DeFi and crypto, but I'm not letting this stuff sour me. I know there are good projects out there. I know that, there are a lot of good people out there that do care for people more than just that dollar. And, that's why I'm here now as just an individual. Mr. Green again.
Mr. Green, that's what you are. But right now, see, even my daughter thinks so. But you know what? I think you landed somewhere cool. Crypto homies. Talk to us about that. How you feel about the crypto homies?
Yeah, every time something bad like this has happened to me, I have leveled up. I've been working with Sid back when he had NFA started, and he was just beginning the crypto homies profile. About a year and a half ago is when we linked up when I was doing mega spaces and stuff. And we've kept in touch throughout all those years. I've tried to bring in projects for NFA. And when I was floating around this last time, Sid scooped me up and said, hey, if you want to represent for the crypto homies, I'm not hiring you to be on the actual team, but if you would like to come out here and be a brand ambassador and, go out to spaces, sign up for spaces and, talk about them in your space, we'll hire you. And I was like, hell yeah, there was no way in hell. I've been looking forward to working with Sid for a while, and the crypto homies are near and dear to my heart as well, because David Gonzalez created the crypto homie characters back in 1998. And Sid's toy company, Vital Toys, started producing those toys in 1999. My brother and I, when they produced them, they'd put them in the gumball machines where you put a quarter in and you get the little plastic egg, you pop it open and you get a toy. My brother and I were trying to collect those little guys, and we're teenagers when they're coming out. We just gotten their driver's licenses and cars. And so what we did was we were getting them, and as we'd collect them, we would glue them to the dashboards of our cars with the notion that when we're driving around, we always had a homie with us. There's always a homie riding. And so it was really nostalgic bringing this brand back, because it is an established brand from 1998 that has just evolved. The patent and the licensing ran out on producing those plastic toys. And so David Gonzalez got together with Sid and brought them back, but on the blockchain. So that's how we have the crypto homies now. And it's only a small collection. It's 1,998, which is a throwback to 1998 when the design was created for the homies. They're 3D collectibles. They're 3D digital collectibles, just like back in the day you could collect the physical toys. Now we've all got our noses buried in phone screens and computers so often that we might as well start collecting digital collectibles. So that's what these are. We're not calling them NFTs. And, you actually wind up with 3 NFTs out of it when you mint one of these Genesis. They're coming July 12th. The price is to be announced, and it's even going to come with the accessibility of using your Genesis on a token-gated website where Sid is going to be working with people like Snoop Dogg to create physical miniature toys and stuff like that are on a super limited set, like around only like 300 pieces or so. So people that own the Genesis NFT are going to be able to go in there and buy those collectibles that are going to be so rare that, like the what was it? The Dr. Bombay. I think people were buying them at the price Sid was selling them and flipping them and making like $500 on eBay with them. And that's right out of the gate. That wasn't even, with some time on them for some nostalgia. So, Sid's built a really huge brand in what he's doing with NFA and the Crypto Homies. We work with other projects. We've been doing one-to-one collabs with Crypto Homies. There's 6 characters that we're minting, which are the 6 characters that were created back in 1998. And they all come with 1 of 5 tiers of rarity, ultra rare being the most rare, OG being the least rare. We've got a set of 101 silvers, a set of 101 Day of the Deads, a set of 101 golds, a super limited set of the exact replicas of the toy back in 1998, because the NFTs have a little more detail than they could do back in 1998 on the toys. So there's going to be a super limited set that are exact replicas of those, and 6 sets of those homie characters that are all white, do-it-yourself, custom color creations, where if you mint one of those all-white ones, you can get with David Gonzalez, and you can pick your colors for your NFT and personalize it the way you want. And that's something huge that they're doing out here in NFTs. There aren't a whole lot of projects that let your holders go back and change the metadata on those to personalize their own NFTs. You usually just mint them and you get those rarities by the mashup of the mint. But, those white ones are going to be something really super special for people to be able to get into the project with. The founder.
I'm sorry.
I was just going to say real quick. The founders minted out in an hour, and the floor price is 0.51 right now.
Wow.
0.51.
Yes.
Is that right?
That is right. 0.51. It was 0.46 on Saturday. Somebody scooped that one up, and now we're up to 0.51. We were actually holding a 1 ETH floor price for a good week or so.
Okay. All right. Well, I wanted to say, I didn't get to say before we got into Crypto Homies. Bro, you've been on the grind. Project after project. It's messed up that you had to go through all that to get to this point. I do feel bad about, what happened, because that's where I met you in that last project. But I'm glad to see that it didn't stop you from doing what you have to do to take care of yourself. It's a blessing in disguise, right? Because now, look what's going on. You're part of a project, and like you said, the floor is at 0.15?
No, 0.51.
0.51.
Yep.
Pinky, stop with the emoji sound effects.
Which is around $1,000 right now, guys. 0.51 is around $1,000.
Right. So to be part of a project that has that kind of floor, it says a lot, right?
Yeah, man. Everything that I've done has just been a huge education process leading me up to where I'm going.
Exactly. So look at it as a blessing, and I wanted to say that to you. And also wanted to ask you one last question to wrap this up. Where do you see Mr. Green being in the future? Like, where do you see yourself as a space host, or maybe doing your own project? Where do you see yourself in the next year? We'll say a year, not 5 years. We'll say a year, because crypto, Web3, a year is like a long time. So we'll start with that.
So I've done something that a lot of projects didn't get the chance to do when they launched. I have built a community already. You know, I'm at 9,500 organic followers right now. And that's just from being me, doing the things that I do. I enjoy now the freedom of not being titled to a project specifically. I don't want to be held down to one project. I don't believe that that's what I created this name to do, is represent completely for just one project. You know, I love a lot of different projects, a lot of different founders. You know, I actually have a lot of the founders I talk to on a daily basis. I have their phone numbers. We text each other instead of DM because I don't have my Twitter DMs on or my Twitter notifications on because my phone would be nonstop. So, you know, I actually even have been toying with the idea of a project of my own. But it's going to have to include Twitter's API tools. And it's like $4,800 a month to be able to incorporate the API tools right now. And that's something I can't afford to pay for without being able to generate some sales of some sort to begin with. But to be able to launch a project, I need those tools. I talked to the guys from the utility company, the Grain Ledger, Loch Ness Society, Jeff and Krishna, and they actually have something already going that I've been toying with the idea. So, you know, that's something that them and I could even go together and collab and start a project of our own together. And so that's something that I've been working at. I've been making notes. I started using ChatGPT to try to get a little bit more of an educational process on how things go and what I need to do step by step. So, you know, I've got the idea. And I think it's going to be a great idea. I think it's going to work. But the initial startup is going to be the trouble. So I do have my best friend outside of Twitter. It makes good money, and he's always looking for things to invest in. So if I can get those API tool amounts to come down, you know, maybe $1,000 a month or so, I might be able to launch this. But at $4,800 a month, and that's just for the basic tools, I can't afford to do something like that. I'd go in the red way before I even launched a project, and I'd probably never catch up. It would take forever. So I have the idea, but for now, I just want to continue growing the name that I've built because, you know, when I come into a space, people give me an invite to come up on the stage because I push positivity. I push, you know, I'm picky about the projects that I represent for, but when I do represent for that project, I rep hard. I make tweets about them for my community. I come to their spaces. I invite them to mine. And it's just become something absolutely fun and more trusting, you know, in Web3. So for now, I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. I'm going to push the positivity out there because we need to be seen in all sorts of good light so that new Web 2 people will come to Web 3. We need to massively onboard people in. And that's how we're going to do it, is by positivity, being legit, and following through with our promises. So I'm just going to float out there. I'm going to represent for the best people that I know. Still do spaces and stuff because I love to do spaces. Actually, yesterday, I finished my sign-up form for this coming Saturday, and I started sending it out. I had 4.5 hours worth of 10-minute slots because I usually do 4 hours, but I knew there was a lot of interest this week. So I did 4.5 hours of time slots, and my form filled in less than 12 hours. So I have something built here that I want to continue building. This is my Mr. Green empire. Hopefully one of these days I can get a project going where I can actually make the type of money that founders are making, and I can supply something that is much, much needed in the space.
That's gonna be
Okay.
interesting. But your spaces
Thank
were
you.
always rocking. Yes, Jay.
I'm sorry. You can go ahead. Get it.
No, I was gonna say, Mr. Green, your spaces were always rocking. You know, now that you're gonna do like structured again spaces, I think you'll get a great following again and build your empire like you said. So that's really really exciting. You know, and we would love to be on that show. You know, once our V2.
Oh yeah, the Italian signed up.
Oh, look at that. Our project manager already, our community manager already went into attack mode. I love it. But
Yeah, he messaged me yesterday and said, "Hey, Mr. Green, I'd love to get back in your space. Can you send me the schedule?" And I sent it to him. So
perfect.
hopefully he made it on. Like I said, that thing filled out quick.
Perfect. But we're at the 38-minute mark. Usually we do 15 to 20 minutes. But Mr. Green, your story is inspirational. So we just kept going. But for the last and final question, it's not a sentence. It's not a story. We're looking for everybody that's been on our show gives us a hashtag one word. So we want to know what represents Mr. Green. All right, what represents Mr. Green and the person you are in one hashtag in one word? What would it be?
I'm gonna go with homie for life because if you look at my Twitter, my @ is homie Wagoner, so I couldn't fit any more with the crypto homies.
So hashtag homie for life.
Yep, homie for life.
All right, guys. So at the end of the show, you're gonna see hashtag homie for life from Mr. Green. Mr. Green, thank you so much for coming to Day and Night Castle Talk, the Web3 animated series that we're gonna try to make a buzz into the Web3 community. And thanks for being on, bud. Jake and X, any final words on your end?
Castle 3 for the win.
Castle 3.
Fuck Castle 3. The hell's going on over here? You're only inviting your Castle 3 friends to our shows. But it's all good. It's all good. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for coming on. Thanks for watching the show. Hit that subscribe button. Come and join the Grim Goyle's YouTube channel where all the Castle Talk episodes will be there. And we're going to see you guys on the flip side. Cheers.
Have a good day, guys. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, it's that Castle Talk.
What up, Jose?
You watch the This that Castle Talk. 1, 2, 3, Castle for you. This is that Castle Talk. Yo, Castle me, Castle 1, Castle 2, Castle 3.